press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello children, we are discussing the concept of biomolecules. So last time we talked about the Zwitterian formation and we talked about the different properties shown by amino acids, and to some extent we talked about RNS system of nomenclature, that is RS system, absolute configuration with respect to chiral center. Today we are starting a discussion of polymerization of amino acids. That is how amino acids polymerize and result in the formation of proteins. The basic fact that we all know is, like we have disaccharides, similar way we have dipeptides. Tripeptides, and oligopeptides. Now in a dipeptide we have two amino acids linked with each other. Tripeptide we have three amino acids. And oligopeptide we have from 3 to 10 amino acids linked to each other. If it is more than 10, we call these usually as polypeptides. Protein is a polypeptide which is made up of hundreds and hundreds, a protein, hundreds and hundreds amino acids. A protein can be small, which is made up of small amino acids as well, means small number of amino acids polymerized with each other. Usually, these ditripeptides are heteronucleated. That is, they can be made up of different amino acids. So, technically speaking, proteins are heteropolymers, because they will be made up of different types of amino acids. What is the link which is holding the amino acids together? And then it results in the formation of the higher polypeptides which are called as proteins. Let us take an example of a basic polypeptide, a dipeptide, which is made up of some simple amino acids. Okay? In this case, the bond which holds two amino acids together it is called as peptide bond. What we call it as peptide bond. Okay? And what it is made between and how it is made between, what are the groups it is made? In an amino acid, it will be the carboxylic acid of one amino acid when it's making the protein, or when it's making a dipeptide, carboxylic acid of one amino acid, and amino group of one more amino acid. These two will be bonded to each other, and with the elimination of water molecule, the link developed between the two will be peptide linkage. peptide link or peptide bond, which is actually an amide linkage. So in amide linkage, what's the nature? We have C double bond O NH. This is an amide linkage. This is amide linkage. Let us understand this. Say we have two amino acids, glycine and alanine. I will replace it out. So here side chain is H, and in alanine we know the side chain is CH3 group. I am mentioning it. Whenever the representation of this is to be shown in case of a dipeptide, remember that whether it's a protein or a dipeptide or any polypeptide, whenever you are showing this, you must always show the nitrogen part of the amino acid on the left, as we have mentioned according to the nomenclature. So we have C alpha, right? Understand it well. Then you got, this is attached to which group? You have got R, then you have got H. We are not showing Fisher projection here, keep it in mind. Then you have NH2, this is the amino part of that carboxylic acid. Then you have C double bond O OH. While you are making the polypeptides or you are making a dipeptide for the basic event here, again here R side chain. For glycine, what is the side chain R? It is H. And for the next one, we will have again, what's a group here we have? We will have C alpha again. Again you will get H. Yes or no? You get H in the form of side chain R. What is the side chain here? It is methyl group. And then you will get H here. Basic things I am showing. Later in the proteins I will show you how exactly R's and other things will be present. Then you have the link here with respect to nitrogen, and there are two hydrogens attached to it. And again you have got C double bond O OH. To make it precise, the carbon end of a dipeptide or polypeptide, the carboxylic end to be precise. So carboxylic end should be shown on the right and amine end should be shown on the left. Now this you have to show on the left because all the amino acids that we have present with us are in which configuration, children? All the amino acids that we have are in L configuration with respect to stereo center, and we are relating it with the serine. Okay, so between these two you have hydrogen here and hydrogen here. Elimination of water molecule will occur. Understand it very well. So by the elimination of water molecule from this particular substance, from the particular amino acids, what is this one? This is glycine, because many times I am being said that things are running fast. So if it's competitive exam, it should be competitive exams and integrated teaching, it should be paced. The classes should not be sleepy, like in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, 3 to 4 sentences will be spoken. So it depends upon the content presence as well. It depends upon the amount also. It depends upon if you are online for 1 hour, you must be learning certain things and some things importantly. So elimination of water molecule will do what? So I will show that bond. In the present case, the bond which has been made, I will show that linkage here. So we have C double bond OH. This is attached to the other portion here, OH here. And then you got N, H and H. Again you have got C alpha here, right? You have C alpha here. Water molecule will be removed from here. Once water molecule is removed, what happens is bond will be made between carbon and nitrogen. So this nitrogen had 2 hydrogens, now it will be having 1 hydrogen. Then it is linked to C alpha, then you have carboxylic end. Now the link that is developed in the present case, this link is called as amide linkage. As I have mentioned out, C double bond O single bond NH is an amide linkage. Now there are some important things with respect to stereochemistry of this bond, with respect to the arrangement of this bond. Now as I mentioned down, that water molecule will be removed from here. Remember that once water molecule is removed bond and amide linkage is developed, the carbon, oxygen and NH, that's amide linkage, will have the arrangement trans with respect to each other. That means amide linkage, whatever the atoms are making this bond, those will be present in such a way that C double bond ON and H will be going in trans direction to each other. Trans direction to each other means, suppose children, if I am making this a plane, example I am talking about. So this is going in one corner, this is going in other corner. So remember that the configuration or the arrangement of peptide bond is trans. That is, to be precise enough, amide linkage or amide bond has got trans configuration, not conformation, because conformation with respect to single bonds itself around a fixed carbon. So it is amide linkage is trans in configuration. So this C double bond over NH will be in trans configuration. So this is glycine, and what was this one? This is alanine. Now what is the first amino acid that you have here? It's glycine. When you are naming it, this INE will be replaced by YL. So the name of this becomes glycylalanine. At the second position I mean to say on the right side, the amino acid which is present will be named as such, as full, and it will be named, the first one ine will be replaced by YL. So glycylalanine, not glycylallyl. So glycylalanine. Am I clear or not? So it becomes glycylalanine. Now if it replaces out, if alanine comes first, it will be allyl glycine. So bond made between the two is what linkage here? Amide linkage. And what's the stereochemistry of this bond? What's the arrangement of this bond? This is trans. And around it, the R groups that are present, this is H and this is CH3. Remember that when you are making a polypeptide from it, these R groups should always be present at the alternate position. Say, if H is here, in the next R should be here, in the next R will be above, in the next R will be below. Because as the polypeptide will be made, these R groups are bulkier groups. I need to write all the things out because you are understanding things that way only, rather than focusing on the content. Okay, so when you are representing it out, what is the basic representation of amide linkage? So what is the basic representation of amide linkage? That is peptide bond. I will write down the first. This end is N end, this end is C end. Correct or not? So we can draw it down. So we got N. Suppose we have glycine, alanine, understand it. We have glycine, alanine and cysteine. Glycine, alanine and cysteine. What are the three amino acids I am talking about? Yes. Glycine, alanine and cysteine. For glycine, what's the side chain? H, simple. Alanine, it is CH3 and cysteine, it is CH2SH. So it becomes allyl cysteine, right? Glycyl, allyl cysteine, because INA will be replaced by YL. Clear? So let us draw those basic arrangements. For a tripeptide, I am drawing the arrangement now. So what is this linkage here? Peptide linkage. Shall I draw the configuration of this peptide linkage? How exactly it is? Let us draw it, children. So I'll draw the stereochemistry of peptide linkage first of all. So understand it. We have N, H, H. Then What you have here? C alpha, which is attached to C, double bond O. Try to get it out. This is R group. This is hydrogen. Okay. Then there's a peptide linkage developed with what? Nitrogen. Then what is there? We have hydrogen. Now one more amino acid started. This is one amino acid from where water molecule has been removed. Now one more amino acid will start. NH, nitrogen, that's NH2 group of that amino acid that is directly linked to C alpha. So R is above, the next R you have to show in the opposite direction. Here R, then you got H. It's a three-dimensional structure. I'm showing it in two dimensions. N has come, C alpha has come, RH has come. What remains there? C. Now the CO, a while earlier the CO, suppose it was above the plane, it was projected above the plane. Now the next CO will be down the plane. This is C double bond O. Then again you will have NH. Trans configuration also. Yes. So if you continue this out, this will be now one more amino acid starting. Correct or not? So what will be that linked to? C alpha. That will have R, will have H. Then what end you will get here? You will get C double bond O. I'll not mention the other end, so I'll put a bracket. So n times if it continues. So this side also I'll put one more additional, it is n times. So this can continue on. Now see this one, children. Very carefully you check this one out. You are getting the configuration clear? Now when you look on this terminus, this end, this is one amino acid on the whole, right? This is one amino acid. Correct or not? This is second amino acid, and this one is third amino acid. Correct or not? Now in these amino acids what I do is, if I change these R groups, I will be easily able to get different configurations respectively. Rather than showing it here, I will show you the stereochemistry in this bond. Come back here and see the stereochemistry in this bond. I'll remove it off. Have a look here. Now this C alpha and C alpha are the basic backbone carbons of the amino acid that have been mentioned to us, right or not? So taking this into consideration, what we can do is 1, 2, 3, 4. Clear? So this is a planar structure that we have here. A plane I have drawn. You can see in this CO and NH are going in opposite direction or not. This confirms the presence of trans configuration of amide linkage. CO and Na should be in opposite positions. It can be attributed to one more fact as well. Because if you just rotate it upside, you will find out C double bond O and NH coming in the same direction. Nitrogen being more electronegative will impart some positive charge on this. And this is carbonyl carbon technically for us. Yes or no? This is actually C double bond O now. It has lost its carboxylic property now. So it is double bond O. It can be minus. There can be an interaction between the two coming into play, and amide linkage will be losing its properties on the whole. If this reaction can come into play. This is one reason. Second possible reason that we can put forward is oxygen is electron cloud. It's a pi electron cloud. It's more wide, right or not? And it can interact with hydrogen. Due to the repulsion is coming into play. One is the reaction can come into play. There are chances. Because children, I have said earlier during the discussions itself that structure governs function. So what exactly is the structure of the molecule? It will govern its function. So if it is in cis configuration, like I have shown here, pi electron cloud can overlap with the NH bond, repulsions can come into play. Once repulsions occur, breakdown of this bond can occur. If there is a breakdown of this bond, then amide linkage will not exist, will not be able to have a stable protein. And we know this amide linkage is the basic scaffold for different structures of a protein like secondary, tertiary, quaternary, so on and so forth. This amide linkage is extremely essential. So everything that will help in stabilizing this amide linkage, this molecule will try to take those possible options. Am I clear here? So you can see here, this is in trans configuration present. Besides that, the rotations around this carbon nitrogen bond are not available. I will tell you the reason for it. The reason for that is, children, that around this C double bond, I said there is a trans configuration. So trans configuration has to be arranged around double bond itself, right? So there is a lone pair of electron on nitrogen. Yes, lone pair and double bond are at alternate positions, correct? So whenever the system is such that they are at double bond and lone pair are at alternate positions, there can come resonance into play. So what will happen is, this can shift in and this may shift out. Due to that, what will happen? Resonating structures will come into play. What will be the resonating structure here? C, O minus, then N. It will develop a double bond character here. There will be plus charge and then there will be hydrogen here. Correct or not? So technically, this bond, according to bond length also, is not a proper C-N single bond. Rather, it is shorter than a proper C-N single bond. That indicates that there is a double bond character present in between this bond due to resonance. Did you get it or not? So, or did you get the point clear or not? So, I will just remove it for some period of time so to understand it. So, this bond has got what character? Double bond character. If the double bond character comes into play, is rotation available? No, rotation is not possible itself at all. So around amide linkage, no rotation is possible. Then there is a basic rule. If there are n number of amino acids in a particular protein chain, then it can take innumerable shapes. But which shape will be most stable will depend upon different interactions that are happening in the molecule. Clear or not? Now, if there is no rotation available, because if it wants to take different conformations, it has to rotate itself, and rotation can only occur around a single bond. So, the single bond that we have here are which one? NC alpha and CNC. Rotation is only possible around this one. This is called as phi, this is called as psi. There is a double bond character here, so rotation is not available along this bond at all. Rotation is only possible around NC bond and CC bond. Clear or not? So as the rotation will be possible around these two bonds, molecules can keep on skipping, but without having any type of rotation around this bond. So restricted rotation is there. There is restricted rotation here, so on and so forth. Am I clear or not? Did you understand or not? So the arrangement of the amide linkage, that is C double bond over NH, is trans. C N bond has got a double bond character, so free rotation is not available around that. Then where is the free rotation available? Free rotation is possible around N, this is C alpha. It is possible around N C alpha, and the angle existing there is phi, and then C alpha C, C alpha C, that is called as psi. So phi and psi, sorry. These are dihedral angles, children, in a protein molecule, which I am not going to discuss here, because on the basis of the dihedral angles only, what type of dihedral angles where the rotation is possible, because R groups, if they want to interchange their positions, how it is possible? It's only possible due to the rotation is available here, right? So rotation around the single bond, you will get different shapes, different conformers from it. Rotation around the single bond brings conformers. Innumerable conformers are possible. But a protein molecule always takes one shape. Which shape? The shape which is most stable. And what will it depend upon? It will depend upon the discussion of primary, secondary and tertiary and quaternary structure. There you will understand how exactly folding of protein comes into play. This is basic scaffold I am talking about. Am I clear here? So here, what are the three amino acids I said? Suppose if this side chain is H, it is glycine. If it is R, it is alanine, and this R will be here. Yes, this R has to be here. So R is suppose CH2SH. This becomes which one? Cysteine. CH, it becomes alanine, and here it is H, it becomes glycine. So this is a tripeptide, right? Oh, right. It's made up of how many amino acids? 3 amino acids. How many peptide bonds are there? 2. So total number of peptide bonds is always equal to n minus 1. That means the total number of amino acids in that chain minus 1 will be the total number of amino acids. Sorry, will be the total number of peptide bonds. Am I clear? So if you want to write the name, it will be glycyl allyl cysteine. How many possibilities are there? Glycine, alanine and cysteine. So according to the abbreviated form, nomenclature form, according to the short form, how you write it? You will write it GAC. GAC. Got it or not? And this each amino acid is coded by a triplet combination of bases called as codon. On messenger RNA, the codon, suppose AGC, adenine, guanine, cytosine will code for one amino acid respectively. Clear? So this peptide linkage, its ribosome is the machinery that will be able to prepare these proteins by the links, right? What links? Peptide linkage. You know there are different enzymes working on it itself. So no, already you are knowing those discussions in our biological sciences. Clear? Glycine, alanine and cysteine. So glycyl, allyl, cysteine will be the group. So what is this one? Amide linkage here. Correct or not? So there is a double bond character, keep it in mind. Not mentioned out, there is a double bond character, and again there is a double bond character. Now look on this. This is one amino acid, right? Or right or not? This is called as N residue. This is called as C residue. Technically, this is called as N terminus. And this is called as C terminus. On the other side, this is C terminus, this is N terminus. This is N terminal residue, this is C terminal residue. The amino acid on the end where carboxylic acid is free, that's called as C terminus residue, and where NH2 is free, that's called as N terminus residue. Simply saying that whenever you have a protein molecule, in that protein molecule when you draw the chain, it will be N end, it will be C end. So you will always find out the N end and C end of the amino acids. N terminus and C terminus, or N amino residue, amino residue and carboxylic residue. So N residue and C residue, or N terminus and C terminus residue, so on and so forth. These will be the common names that we can use for it. Right? Did you understand the functions of stereochemistry around the bond itself or not? Am I clear with the stereochemical part of this bond, peptide bond? So trans configuration, very good. Double bond character. And due to double bond character, rotation around amide linkage is not possible. However, around that amide linkage, there are two dihedral angles, torsional angles, on the base or around which different rotations are possible. And when different rotations will come into play, you will get different conformers. Those are around NC alpha, that is around the peptide linkage is NC alpha and C alpha C. Around these two bonds only, rotation in a peptide bond is possible. So if more than 3 but less than 10 amino acids are linked to each other, then we call that as oligopeptide, and if it is more than 10, we call usually that as polypeptide. However, proteins are extremely high molecular mass containing polypeptides. Polyamides also we call these as, because there are multiple amide linkages. So you can call this as polyamides or polypeptides respectively. Got it or not? This is the basic discussion of the stereochemistry of that peptide bond, arrangement of that, what is the nature of that, what is the conformation, and all those things. Now, keep 3 things in mind. Whenever you will draw from now on a protein structure, you need to make sure that on each amino acids you have to see very carefully that C, that's amide linkage, is in trans region. Number 2, when you move from one amide linkage to next amide linkage, you should have alternate arrangement of amide linkage. That means in one, if it is going above the plane, in the next it should be going down the plane. It has a reason that we will discuss when we discuss about the secondary structure. See, nature has maintained these things so accurate and so beautifully. Clear? And then R group should be also showed at the alternate position. Alternate position means opposite positions. So in first, if R is down, next one up, next one down, next one up, so that inter or repulsions will be minimized. Or if these side chains are there, these side chains may contain some charges on it, suppose COO minus NH3 plus. They can interact with each other and it can lead to the alteration in the structure of the basic scaffold of that particular protein, which can change the shape. As a result of that, functioning can also change. Hope I am clear with this. Very good. Now this makes generalization. On the basis of this structure, we have two different types of proteins. On the basis how the structure has been generated of a protein molecule, we have two different classifications. We will distinguish those towards the end once we are done with the basic. Did you understand the phenomena here clearly? So on the basis of that, we have two types of proteins. Okay, children? So what are those two types of proteins that we have? We have globular. We have globular and fibrous proteins. Fibrous proteins are usually structural proteins which are insoluble in water, like keratin, which is present in the nail and wools, keratin, silk, right? Even you have myosin, which is a structural protein which helps in the basic movement of the muscle during AZ band formation. Alright, AH band formation. When the muscle contraction occurs, this myosin, actin and myosin is working there as a structural feature it has. So fibrous proteins should be like that only because they are essentially the scaffolds for different structures. They are basically responsible for the skeletal. They act as a skeletal part for different structures. So their solubility should be less in water. They should be extremely hard, and how their hardness comes into play, it's on the basis of different types of bondings. We'll discuss in the structures. And then you have globular proteins. These are technically functional proteins, like different albumins, like you have insulin also. They are water soluble, like hemoglobin. They are different types of proteins which take a particular globule shapes and they move through the medium very quickly, and their solubility in the medium is higher. Depends upon the amino acids by which these are made. Usually structural, that is fibrous amino acids are usually made up of non-polar amino acids. Non-polar amino acids, or they may be made by different amino acids but outside what is exposed to the medium are non-polar amino acids, and the internal core may be made by polar amino acids itself, right? While as these, which one? Globular proteins are extremely important in working. So mostly their outer side chains will be polar so that they can interact with the medium very easily, because hemoglobin, suppose it has to move through the medium itself, that means it should have polarity around it itself, right? Clear or not? Good. Now this we'll do in further details as we go into structures. So we understood some important characteristics of peptide linkage, dipeptide, tetrapeptide, so on and so forth. Different arrangements are possible. Right? Okay. Now we will see different structures that are obtained by proteins. Organization of these proteins. So the first structure of protein will be primary structure. Primary structure of proteins. Now this primary structure of proteins is a linear chain of proteins, because still it's not a protein, because protein has a function. Primary structure does not perform any catalytic activity. Primary structure, because primary structure is simply the attachment of different amino acids by peptide bonds. So there is no active site formation, it has not folded, there is no folding, there is no additional interaction present at all. So in primary structure of a protein, the only bonds that are present are peptide bonds. Same scaffold what I showed a while earlier for a tripeptide, I will repeat these same n number of times for a polypeptide. And that polypeptide, if that polypeptide is in this primary structure, it is made only by amino acids which are linked to each other by peptide bonds. No additional bond formation is there at all. No additional forces are there. There is no folding pattern at all. Protein has not taken the shape still. It's only just a protein which has been made in the cytoplasm by converting the signal of messenger RNA into that protein chain. That's it. It has not taken any shape. Right? Good. So, only by peptide bonds. Now, again, extremely important to understand this. This linear chain that I am going to draw will clear all the things for you itself. Now, I am going to draw that. One side I have to mention N terminus, one side I have to mention C terminus, right? So, I will mention that here now. So, we got N, we have H, we have H. It is not bonded yet. Then you have C alpha, which is attached to R, and then it is attached to H. So, three things from alpha carbon are already done. Now remains carboxylic acid. So, I got C here. Then you have double bond O. Then it is linked to N. Then you have H here. Correct or not? Now, other amino acid starts for us. NH. Correct? This nitrogen is linked to what? C alpha, which is linked to C. Then double bond above. So here we'll write double bond below. Keep it in mind, and if you check the books also, in the latest competitive exams, when they have asked the questions regarding the protein structures with respect to primary, secondary, tertiary structure, they have only talked about the arrangement of the atoms, and they have talked about different forces that lead to conversion of primary to secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure. We will discuss all things in detail. So first of all, understand the primary structure, how it's arranged. So you got C alpha. Now R above, so I'll mention R here down and H here. H usually is not mentioned out, but for your understanding, I am drawing it out here. C double bond O. So this finishes one more amino acid, then one more starts, link is there N, correct or not? C double bond O and H should go upwards. Oh yes or no? Then this has one more amino acid starts, this is C alpha, then you got C double bond O. Now this one will be attached here with R, then you will get H here. So C double bond O, you got NH here. Clear or not? Then what do you have on the other side? Again C alpha, then you will have C double bond O. Then it can continue on with the other groups respectively, right or not? So this can also continue on. So if this hydrogen is removed, this will continue on, amide linkage. Read the statement and arrangement properly. So again you will have here what? R, you will have here what? H, I will mention COOH here. So that can break off, that can continue on with the chain. Sorry. Now this becomes which terminus for us? C terminus, or also called as carboxy terminus. And this is which terminus? N terminus. Carboxy and N terminus. Clear with the fact? Good. Now look on the arrangement. C alpha CN, C alpha CN, C alpha CN. If I want to read it properly, I will read it like this. N C alpha C, N C alpha C, N C alpha C, N C alpha C. Repetition will be N C alpha C. Then N C alpha C. This link is what? This link is what link? This is peptide link, peptide bond, right? So what is the arrangement here? So if you want to read the peptide arrangement, this is one amino acid, this is one more amino acid, this is one more amino acid, this is one more amino acid. So there are how many amino acids here? 4. Want to observe those out? Have a look. This is amino acid number 1. This one has undergone the peptide bond formation. Now this is amino acid number 2. Then here, this is amino acid number 3. And here, this is 3. Then this is amino acid number 4. So there are how many amino acids here? 4. Now what is the link here? This one, peptide bond. I'll write down here. Again here we have peptide bond. Again here we have peptide bond. And this can continue for the formation of peptide. Any other peptide bond is here? No, not drawn there. Are you getting the facts clear here or not? Are you understanding the facts? So when the arrangement of the amino acids is just by the peptide linkages, only by peptide bonds, we call such structure as primary structure of proteins. So technically we can say, which you have read in biological aspects also, when denaturation occurs, what occurs? Denaturation. It is actually secondary or tertiary or quaternary structure changing to which structure? Primary structure. So the folded arrangement of a protein opens out in a linear chain form. Opens out in a linear chain. And this only contains primary structure, that is, it only contains what bonds? Peptide bonds in it. Now, if peptide bonds are also broken, it is hydrolysis. Technically, it will be a type of, it will be digestion only. Because proteins will be converted to amino acids in digestion. So you can get amino acids only when peptide linkages are broken. Right or not? There are different enzymes for this. So when peptide bonds are broken, only then we can say primary structure is also distorted. And now there is no chance for renaturation of a protein itself. You cannot renaturate. The under molecular arrangement, chaperones we call those as. So under molecular modulators, you can renature a particular protein molecule under slow conditions. However, if drastic conditions are applied suddenly, when the denaturation occurs, suddenly you are bringing drastic conditions into play, then renaturation becomes very difficult. So conversion of the active structure of a protein, that is secondary, which is active structure, tertiary or quaternary, which are also active structures, they perform different activities. So if secondary, tertiary or quaternary active structure technically is converted to primary structure, we call that as denaturation of a protein has come into play. So this is a polypeptide chain. Technically, this is a tetrapeptide made up of 4 amino acids. And how many peptide linkages are there? Only 3. Now everywhere you need to see out arrangement. So CN bond is there. So it is NC alpha C. Then next one NC alpha C. Bond is between C and N. So R and R, you can see in 2 different amino acids, R is opposite, R is alternate and R is alternate. You can also look on amide linkage, CONH, 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 CONH. Now what is the advantage of keeping Y? Actually we are not keeping it. On the basis of spectroscopic and experimental studies, on the basis of X-ray crystallographic studies, it has been found out that different groups are oriented in space differently, and it gives it the structural feature as well as functional feature. How? If this is the basic chain that you have, understand it well. What can happen is, if one more chain is arranged side on with each other, since CO is coming out, from there if NH is coming out, they can undergo hydrogen bonding. So interchain hydrogen bonding can strengthen the particular protein, but that won't be the primary. That will also be in the primary structure. Other one also in the primary structure. So when many primary structures interact with each other, they may result in the formation of a secondary structure of that whole molecule itself, which may perform different functions in a system. Am I clear or not? Am I clear with the basic postulates? So which end is this one, children? This is N end, and this is which end, children? C end. Did you understand the basic pattern here? Clear to you? Yes. So this is basic scaffold now. So we can draw it out in terms of basic structure if you want to draw where you are not showing, like in normal diagrams you draw in which you don't show the scaffolds at all, you want to show directly how the arrangement will be. I will show that one as well here. This is understood, children? Okay, so how will that arrangement be? It will be like this. A linear chain, C double bond O, NH. Then C alpha, C double bond O, NH. Okay, it can continue from here. Then it is what here? C alpha. Here C alpha. Yes or no? So here again C alpha. Then C double bond O, NH. Then C alpha, C double bond O, OH. This can continue. So this is the normal chain that you can draw, wherein CO and NH groups are present at the coming out perpendicular, or coming out from the particular backbone, back chain, which is made up of C alpha amino acids. So alpha amino acids are obtained on the basis of when digestion of a protein occurs. So if there is a digestion of protein happening, if the protein gets digested out, then it means amide linkage will be broken off, right? So as these are broken, you will always get what? C alpha, that is, alpha amino acids. You will get alpha amino acids, and you already know what is meant by alpha amino acids. Clear, children? So this is the basic fundamental structure that we have taken into consideration. So this indicates, or this explains the primary structure of proteins. So this is how primary structure of protein comes into play, by only particular peptide linkage. Now certain things I will explain from here only. These side chains which we have mentioned here, children, these side chains, and H, this H can interact with C double bond O of any other group. These side chains may be composed of, suppose, COO minus or NH3 plus, or this may be composed of, suppose, OH groups, side chains, R groups may be composed of OH, so on and so forth. So there are chances that interaction between these can come into play, hydrogen bonding can come into play, or if it is ammonia, it is CO minus, interaction between these, not from this end, but CO minus and NH3 plus on the same side at the other place. So they can interact with each other, right or not? Suppose somewhere there is NH3 plus, it can interact with it, leading to electrostatic forces. These different groups, when they interact with each other, in the final structure, will lead to extreme high amount of energy loss. So there is a general rule in protein chemistry, which is, as I mentioned, I will write it again, structure governs function. So if there are innumerable number of chemical reactions happening in a system, or if the shape of the molecule wherein these particular small charges will interact with each other, what it will lead to? This whole structure at the end, once these inter-chain interactions will come into play, will fold up, and that folding will lead to, it is three-dimensional structure formation, that is tertiary or quaternary or secondary structure formations, right? So these ends are extremely important. And which amino acid will be at what distance in a protein is determined by the language of mRNA. So there is a language of codons on mRNA, and each codon will code for an amino acid. So which amino acid is how far from which amino acid will be determined by DNA itself. So DNA has an inherited message in it, what types of proteins are to be made and what type of active site that protein will have on it is already separated or is already given or is already inherited or present on the DNA, because it is DNA via central dogma of molecular biology. It is DNA which makes DNA, or DNA makes RNA, RNA makes what? Protein. Or DNA replication, DNA to RNA transcription, RNA to protein translation. It's like translating a language. Language of what? Codons into the language of proteins, and each protein will perform a particular function. Am I clear here? Am I clear? So this is the primary structure of proteins for us. Did you understand the comprehension here clearly? Now, after this we will start. This you should keep, every one of you should keep this thing in mind, the primary structure of protein. After this we are going to start with the secondary, tertiary and quaternary structures of proteins. I think for today this particular discussion will be more than enough. You need to focus and rewind the discussion again and again continuously, so to understand and comprehend how the protein molecules will be arranged. In our next discussion, the secondary structure, we will talk about alpha helical structures and beta pleated sheets. They are the secondary structure, and it is the secondary structure where from the functions of the proteins will come into play. Am I clear? Fine. So read hard, children. Thank you.